All right, that was 21 Savage featuring J. Cole. Listen, I'm trying to get with this new rap stuff, and I don't know. I don't know which I got.
Oh, you know what I have. I can't get with it.
I'm like, we celebrating. I'm trying to get yours, AmberDee. We celebrating 50 years of hip hop, but hey, I tried. And then I was in there listening to the rhymes. I was like, dude's first verse, like it was whack. I can't hear you, Nate. You on mute. You're on mute. I listen.
Oh, okay. There we go. I see that's rap music. That's not hip hop.
That's not hip hop to you. Okay.
Rap music.
Let's jump right into this. Let's talk about the Shop Talk question of the week. And the Shop Talk question of the week is, should there be a time lapse when you split up with your mate? So if y'all break up, should there be like a time allotted to like get back together, or like a time span? Like a week, 2 days? Go ahead.
Time stamp for what? To start dating other people, or
to date other people?
Define date.
He said define
I'm like, come on now.
Define date.
Yes or no? It's an easy.
Yes no, it's not easy. It's different. It is different.
I think
different. Go ahead. What you got?
I think that it depends on the people in the relationship, but I think general consensus among average people is that it's a ratio of who was more blindsided by the ending of the relationship as to how much time it takes for them to like bounce back or start dating other people or whatever. Whereas the person who starts dating immediately after the relationship ends was probably already checked out of the relationship much earlier, before the official ending of the relationship. So it's more like a ratio, and it's relation to how whichever party felt about the relationship.
Okay, so you want me to come out just...
I just asked it, yes or no? Like, should it be one?
Okay, here, I think, look at Nate, there's a difference. And it's male to female difference.
Go ahead.
A male will get out there and smash. That's not him dating. He will get out there and just go buck wild. Now, in most cases, if a woman does that, that dude was already there or has been there before. So it's more loaded on the woman's side. Does that make sense?
Well, what you think, Cam?
I hear what he's saying, but I don't necessarily agree with it. But that is a man's perspective. So I'm glad that he put it out there like that, because that is what a man would think. So the answer to the question, though, I would have to say there's not necessarily a time span, because there are other factors involved. It's like, is this the fourth breakup, or is this the first breakup? Is this the real one, the fake one? You're mad at each other. There's all these other factors that are involved. But if you are having a true disconnection from each other, just like Amber said, somebody was already out anyway. So, you don't wake up this morning and say, okay, I'm just done with this in a true serious relationship. There have been things that are leading up to that. And 9 times out of 10, the person who was going to be left behind had some idea that things weren't right anyway. It's almost like neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye, because we've been doing it like this for so long, or we're so deeply into it. So my answer to that question is no, there isn't a timeline, but there should be, because emotions just don't stop, which is really where Nate was going. Oh, you were all stepping out on me the whole time. If you could just break up with me on Friday and be with me Friday night, there has to be something else happening there.
All right, let me introduce you to who we got back in the building. My girl, listen. Kim been rocking with Shop Talk with Mel from like the onset. And then in the studio, Nate, remember you used to be setting the studio up.
Oh yeah, me and Nate.
Me and Kim go 40 years. We've been skating together for 40 years.
40 years. Yep.
So I want to put this out here for those who don't know. That is life coach and not yesterday's life coach. We're talking for some years now, some seasoned life coach. Kim Hamilton Mays, transformation coach. Yeah, let me get it right. Transformation coach instead of the life coach. This life coach is one. I'm sorry. Transformation coach. So let me be clear. So let's give her a warm welcome round of applause.
It's nice to be back. Hey, everybody.
Yes, yes, yes. I was like, come on, we got to talk about what's happening here and why the females are losing. Because your girl, I ain't feeling this.
I blame AmberDee.
That's we know AmberDee is it. Y'all know Amber. Everybody know AmberDee. They see AmberDee at the store everywhere. AmberDee, the analyst. So let's give it up. Let's see. Did I get it here? Hold on.
Hey, Amber.
Whatever. Boo.
Is he saying boo?
He said boo.
And let's give it up to none other Nate the Agitator.
Hey, Nate. It's gonna be me and you today.
I see. Yeah, they brought you in as reinforcements. It's okay. Hey, after the show, we're gonna go back to being friends.
Okay.
I
love you though.
Go back to being
For the
friends.
next 2 hours. No, I'm just.
All right, so Kim summed it up. AmberDee gave her input.
I disagree.
Nate, the agitator, he has his thoughts. And then I have mine because, first of all, there's not going to be a second, a third, or fourth breakup. It's going to be just one. If there's one, make sure that that's exactly what you want because, baby, I'm a one and done. And on that note, let's get this show started.
Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens is motivation.
All right, we getting ready to get to these comments. You ready, AmberDee?
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry. Some stuff is popping off.
Okay, stuff is popping out.
There's literally 2 fire trucks in front of my house right now.
I sent them.
It's not your house, right?
I don't know. They're jumping out.
Well, I sent them.
Wait, bye.
I sent them over there. Don't worry about it.
Something's going on.
Is it at your place though?
It's not. But I'm nosy. I'm black.
Later.
All right, come on, go ahead, read the comment.
Okay. It's Shandu Piegler of Facebook said, "Good morning, beautiful ladies, and the legend himself, Nate."
Don't worry, they trying to jump on me, Ish. They bring Timmy and they bringing the big guns in. I got it.
I'm about to take you off for real. Like, I'm about to give you a big. Go ahead, AmberDee.
So,
Sadiq, these are responses to the Shop Talk question of the week. Should there be a time limit on dating other people after your relationship ends? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Sadiq Salahuddin of Facebook said tomorrow if interested.
Okay, go ahead.
4 hours. So Vet Williams of Facebook said, the faithful one stays single. The cheater in the relationship moves on right away.
Okay.
And is that okay? Okay.
We can go back. Go ahead.
Okay. So my question to that though is that actually helpful if you've been cheated on to be like say single and make it like a good thing? Like, because you're depriving yourself of a new relationship and new love because of what that person did to you.
Okay, hold on 1 second. You read this comment and then we'll open it up a little bit.
Okay, so Anita Marie Davis of Facebook said, "Good morning, all. People heal at different times, so people should be considerate of others' feelings, but they don't and won't sometimes."
Okay, now go ahead. Your question, AmberDee, was, is that helpful Or is
I
it
mean,
both
we
of you?
all need time to heal, especially if you've been cheated on. But I also don't want to fall. And I want to point it out because women typically do this. You'll get cheated on, and then you kind of hold on to that and carry it with you, and then you stay single. You won't ever get in a new relationship or whatever, or you project that onto every man you interact with. So it's like, yes, the person who got cheated on usually will stay single, after the relationship, and then the cheater just moves on right away because they had checked out, a long time ago, right? But is that really good? Is that really helping you heal by staying single after being cheated on? And I mean beyond healing.
What you got, Nate?
Totally thing. You said the word feelings in it a whole bunch of times. That's why I said it, there was difference between men and women. I don't need a relationship. That's why I asked you to define move on like a relationship. Because like I said, we're cavemen. We'll smash. It ain't no feeling involved. Women want to move on for a next relationship. Man ain't looking for a next relationship. He's looking for the next relations.
But
It's totally
that's
different.
what that's not exactly. We're talking about two totally different things. You're talking about relations. I'm talking about moving on to a new relationship.
Okay,
So
well, I mean,
smashing is not a new relationship, it's just smashing.
gotcha.
Okay, and then Derek Clark of Facebook said, better heal fast like Wolverine. Life is too short.
That's funny.
And I agree. I actually agree. And that would be my advice to women. And that's kind of my point. My question was like, is that really a good thing though? Like, okay, yeah, you got cheated on, so you stay single, but I mean, you're just depriving yourself.
Hmm? What is the woman looking for in the next though? You're looking for another relationship?
Sometimes a relation can help you move on from getting cheated on in your previous relationship. Yeah, you got to get out there.
Okay.
Okay, so you just like date the next person to get over the last?
Well, I
Get
do
up under
think everyone
somebody so
should
I can get
heal,
from under
but
you.
I think that wallowing in being wronged does not help a woman.
Wait, being wrong does not help me. What happened?
Like, so because you were wronged, you got cheated on, right? Like
Okay.
wallowing in that and sitting in that doesn't help you move on. It doesn't, like, you need to push past it.
Where in the question did it say she got cheated on? Why
That's
can't you?
what Vet
Why is
was
it
saying.
always us?
No, that was Vet's comment. Her comment was that the
Come here.
person who was true
Lay
and
down.
faithful will stay single, but then the person who cheated will get in a new relationship immediately. And so my response to Vet's comment was like, is that really a good thing though? That the person that got cheated on is going to stay single?
That's a good question, but I don't think so. I wouldn't.
Exactly. Neither would I.
I'm like, I'm gonna keep it moving.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Here's a comment there.
Okay, so Derek Clark of Facebook said, "What are you getting cheated on for? Like, what the heck are you doing?"
And see, that's always the thing. Is always what weren't you doing? Like you're blaming
And
that
that's a
person.
deflection, Derek.
Go ahead, Kim, what you got?
This is a very good time for me to say what I'm going to say. His question is a very valid question. People don't think it's a valid question, but it is, because every single thing we do, regardless of relationship, money, career, everything goes back to a core belief system that we have. It goes back to the value system that we have allowed ourselves to be influenced by. It goes back to what we believe about relationships, what we believe about money, what we believe about marriage, what we believe about what kind of job you should have, what you believe about when you should get married. So for him to ask that question, there's already a belief system that that woman has not done her part in that relationship for him to step out and get it somewhere else. That was an excellent question, because that is what everything is going to go back to. What do you believe about this relationship that you thought it went wrong? What do you believe about yourself that you would step out of one relationship and go and get involved with someone else? Are you trying to say that you can't be by yourself? Are you on the clock that you have to be married? Are you on the You know, is it a money thing? What do you believe about you that we even have to have this conversation in the first place? People are not true to their authentic selves because they don't know who their authentic self is.
Wow.
Okay.
No
That's what we love, Kim.
I can't argue with that.
Keep us together. I hear what you're saying, and that, okay, you got me. I'm sold.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just really rude or a cop-out to say, well, or let me say it this way, to blame somebody else for you doing what you wanted to do all along.
Because how can you blame yourself if you're not really aware of where that belief system came from? When you
I'm sorry.
When you get involved with somebody, you already have in your mind what you're expecting from that other person. You're already have in your mind what you expect that relationship to do. But if you are not aware of it, it's influencing you and you don't even know it. The example that I like to use is, and Nate can relate to this because we roller skate. Music is a big part of our lives. Have you ever heard a song and it takes you all the way back to Austin Town and you're like, man, I forgot this song existed. But when you hear it, it takes you back to that time. It takes you back to what you were doing and where you were. The song is in your head. You're just not aware that it's there until something triggers it. That's what's happening in your relationship.
Yeah.
So you're blaming the other person because you're not realizing your own influence. That's what happens with everything we do. Every single decision we make comes from our own internal belief system that we are not aware is happening. So no one should blame that other person. Like he said, what did you do wrong? She would say, I didn't do anything wrong. You did this. We're operating off of what we think a relationship should be. We never get involved with somebody and say, okay, what are you expecting out of this? We choose people and then try to make them fit the mold. You have the mold and then that person should automatically fit. Don't try to transform them. Put them where they belong in your life. If you're looking for a Nike, don't buy a pump. You still need Nikes.
Good night. I would like to take this time to shut up. I would like to take this time to just shut up.
But his question opened that door for me. That's why I didn't say anything. I said, because I know somewhere it's going to come up. We have these expectations, we have these belief systems, value systems, cultural things that we're operating off of, but we really don't give them due diligence before we commit ourselves to somebody else or a situation. And that's how things go wrong.
Okay. Wait, who's this? Okay. I like her too. Okay. So we have different comments, and I'm just going to read these off for the listening audience who aren't on and able to see. Triggers are real. Yes, Kim, good teaching. Pumas and heels for me. Okay, Puma.
Okay. I said Nike.
Self-care. Dang, she broke it down. Hey, yeah, there you go. And you did. You broke it down, and we really, really do already have a mold, and you told that. You said it. We have a mold for what we are looking for and what we want. And that's what we're attracted to. We can't help it.
But sometimes, because you have the mold, if that fine person walks up to you and they're triggering something within you, they may not fit your mold, but you're going to accept them anyway and then try to make them fit. That's where that don't change me comes from. So, I mean, you have to be honest with yourself, because by the time a relationship ends, 9 times out of 10, you already saw what was wrong by the time it ends.
Wow.
It's just that no one took the initiative to just go ahead and cut it off, because nobody's all bad. No situation is all good. But if that good at the time is outweighing the bad, you'll ignore all this other stuff that eventually is going to come back to haunt you.
Let the church say.
I ain't ignoring it. I'll be like, I'm like, flag, one red flag is a parade to follow. I'm telling you, that stuff is for real.
You're a unicorn, Mel.
That's you keep
And
saying.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna
no.
say, and that could be. But here's the flip side too. And I'm glad Nate is on the call. I mean, on the show today, because he gives that male perspective.
Thank you.
Women will put their feelings on their sleeves, busting windows out your car, crying, calling all your girls. Men have to have a safe place to do that, and it ain't gonna be in front of no woman.
Preach, preacher.
So
Get out
Where's
my
it
house.
gonna be at, Nate? Tell us.
it doesn't. It's not saying that men don't have self-esteem issues. They do, but they're going to handle those much more discreetly than a woman will.
Right.
So
right.
when
We
we're
don't.
thinking that men are just dogging you out, and first of all, you got to go back to what they were taught about relationships and what they were taught about what a man is. A man ain't breaking in front of somebody like that. Now, he might have a moment. You're like, oh man, I can't believe, I'm crying for you, girl. You ain't gonna take me back. To them, that's a big deal. I cried for
It's
you.
huge. That's huge. That's huge.
So it's not that women are getting lost in the shuffle. It's just that men don't show how lost they are.
Right. And
Is
when a
that right?
man doesn't show emotion, women take that as us being not in
Forward.
love.
That's
And
right.
Men want respect. We don't care about love. I mean, love is important, but it ain't. Our respect is your love. You look at love the way we look at respect.
That's the love
and,
language.
And you keep on saying, I love you, I love you. You don't say it enough. I'm like, dude, I'm respecting and I'm taking care of everything. But I think love is a verb. I don't know. But I can't argue with Kim.
Oh, so we're gonna be in love for the whole show then. We don't have to wait until the show is over.
Yeah. Let's go skate.
Love actually is a verb.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Now you do have those men who show emotion. Don't listen to me. I'm just going to voice my opinion. If you a crybaby, I'm definitely turned off.
Exactly.
Goodbye. And I guess that's probably why you don't show people how you really feel. Because for real, if you crying every time you turn around, bye. I'm not into you, and it shows weakness to me over and over again. When you are the town crier, it's weakness. Oh, nobody does this. You crying about your job. You crying about this. You crying about every time you turn around, you crying. It's like you are another dependent. You are a child. Like, I'm not trying to do that unless I could claim you on my taxes. Get out of here. Like, I'm not doing that. I'll put you in the counseling. I just can't do it. And you have those men out there that want a feminine woman, but you crying. I need a masculine man.
Amen.
So what you have just done is tell men who are emotional that they're not men. You just emasculated men.
You know what I told them? Don't call me. That's what I said.
But
don't call me. Go ahead.
So then he'll say, okay, I'm with Mel, and I got to be hard. I can't show her how I feel. It's going to start coming out in other behaviors because everybody has to let it out some kind of way. Some people do that more constructively than others. But if you tell a man in the beginning, I'm one of those types, I can't really deal with the emotion like that, then that's fine. But let him know. Then let him decide if the two of you can work things out. Because part of the problem that we have is we don't tell people our weaknesses, or we don't tell people our insecurities. And by the time that stuff starts creeping up, you all knee deep in it. And she said, oh, do they need the shoulder? But by the time you realize what you're involved with, you're already invested in it. And it's funny how we can take relationships and say, okay, well, let me feel this out and let me try it out. But if you go buy something from the store and you don't like it, it's going back in 15 minutes.
Let's
I don't see nothing wrong with that. Am I wrong, AmberDee?
You're not wrong. I feel like it's because, like Kim was saying again, you want to make someone fit instead of accepting a man for what he is and what he's showing you at face value. And I think as a woman, it will turn into a lot of rejection, or like you rejecting because you're like, I'm seeing what's in front of me and this isn't great, right? And so then you're motivated to give it a try, see where it goes, really out of loneliness, even though it's right in front of you and it's been in front of you from the beginning.
Okay.
She's right. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it 100, as I always do.
I was going to say, well, what's new, Mel?
Okay. Yeah. You have
this is a stretch.
somebody. So if you okay, dating outside your status. How about that?
Same. Oh, and that goes both genders.
So
both
if you
ways.
know, right. So if you know, and I'm not saying just men. I'm Nate. I ain't. This is both genders.
No. But
Okay.
you're setting me up.
You heard AmberDee. She said
if
both
you
genders.
know, you chose to do it. This is a choice you're getting.
Okay. And see, that's where it's at. So if you already know and you know how this person is, I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna tell you off top. Here's the deal. I'm giving you my playbook. Off top. First dinner, lunch, whatever. Here, you want to date me? I'm giving you my playbook. I always say, if you have self-esteem issues, please don't date me because you will kill yourself. Because I don't have the energy. And I hate to sound this way, but it's the truth. I'm too busy trying to do what I'm trying to do that I don't have that to put it into you. That's why I don't be like trying to be in relationships. I'm like, no. But if you got your own life going on, you're not gonna be sitting there pulling my coattail, telling me, can you please? Oh, I don't feel like you like me. Dude, I'm with you. That should be something.
Mel brings up a very good point, because Mel is saying, look, I'm doing me. I need you to be doing you. But here's the deal. Gender roles have changed so much. Because back in the day, you would have been a trip on all levels just coming at somebody like that. But today, that's our world. We can take care of ourselves. We can be assertive. We can say, I can be the equal partner. We can say, I'll be the breadwinning partner. So you have to understand that when you come at somebody like that, now they have to figure you out. So many men today, some I've coached and they'll admit it, they don't know where to fit anymore, because the male role has been so well established over time. And here we come saying, I don't need you. So now the man is like, well, now what you want me to do? So
ask red flag Amber. She'll tell you.
red flag.
I think that, historically, women who were unwed, women who were childless were, devalued in society. And I think that historically, if a woman was unable to bear children, if a woman was unable to find a husband, she had to find value in herself or some purpose in society much sooner than men have. Whereas men, I feel like historically society has kind of coddled men to where it's easier for them to find external value, and then they don't actually have to find value in themselves. So then when the woman is taken away and the traditional structure of what is defining manhood is taken away, you're left with nothing, because you were never forced in the position to say, okay, who am I? What value do I have? And figure that out for yourself. Men have been allowed to operate on autopilot for much longer than women have.
Go ahead, Nate.
Now let me go back and get out the way of this lightning bolt.
That only works for Black women, because a guy who wants this traditional thing that I'm arguing with myself. I can't get it out. The men that were raised for centuries in this manner, the only person that applies to, now this is from Nate, are Black women. Other women are raised to cater to their men. That's why you got the passport boards. That's why people are going overseas. That's why men are running from you in flocks, because
they're running from us, Nate.
Because you think your money equates to equalness. Because if a man gets a job, I can take care of my family and my wife and family. If a woman gets a job, I don't need you. And that's what majority Black women think. I haven't surveyed everybody, but you can see everyone else is raised to serve their man. And that's what we're running to. So that problem is a primarily black woman problem. And that's why.
That's not the case because the marriage data would reflect that. There is a marriage crisis across
there's 4 of us
America
here.
and
Amber, there's 4 of
modern
us here.
countries.
There's 4 of us here right now. Who's married?
Oh, wait. Who was married?
No. Now. Right now.
Listen, I got to say this in AmberDee's defense. She would have still been married had she not been a widow.
Got you.
She's a widow.
But guess what?
Hers don't count.
Men control marriage.
Yes.
You control sex. So my goal is to get your cookies without you getting my cookies. So guess what? I can play the game. I can be like, what? Yeah, I was thinking about writing a book. Whatever you got to say, I'm going with it. That's why we sit there and listen. Oh, she likes writing books and poetry. I was thinking about writing a book. I can't read, but I'm playing to get your cookies. And you thinking, oh, well, we're equal and this, that, and the other. And you're raised to not need us. Just set y'all up for failure. And you said it was traditional. For hundreds of years, men have been the providers. They have built.
I'm not.
Wait, one second. Let me chime in here for what Nate said. She likes writing books. I can't read, but I'm trying to get her cookie. So if y'all trying to get my cookie, feel free to go to Barnes & Noble, Balboa Press, or Amazon.com.
Shameless
Purchase the book, How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, from yours truly, Mel Ross. Okay, now you can carry on.
Shameless plug.
Okay, Nick, I'm not talking about all the men. I'm talking about women who historically, like I said, they were unwed, or they were unable to have children. Those people who are outside of the cultural norms. So women who are outside of the cultural norm for that time period had to figure out who is self, who am I, much faster than men who couldn't find a wife, who couldn't bear children. You know, there were more supports in society for men to have value. I'm able to work. Okay, now I'm a man. But what if you're not able to work? What if you're not able to have a woman? What if a woman won't accept you? Then who are you? What is your value? And I think that is the baseline of the rise in like incels. Because it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You shouldn't place your own value outside of yourself.
Okay. Let's go here real quick. AmberDee, you want to read that?
So Tiffany Love Allen of Facebook said, but women had to become independent because of the absentee father.
Why is the father absentee? You act like the father just left.
No, okay.
He ran away.
I feel like the conversation isn't about like the dynamics between men and women, but it's like, how are you operating when you're not chosen, when you're not in a relationship? It's not about getting into the relationship, or the relationship is a goal, or the relationship defines your value as a human being. But if you're a man or a woman and you associate who you are as a person with these outside factors, then I think it encourages people to be unstable in themselves.
Would you agree that the goal is different between the man and the woman? Yes or no? Is the goal different?
As far as relationships?
No.
Romantically?
It's romantically or whatever. Is the goal different?
I'm going to say
the answer is yes,
no.
Amber. What?
No.
Okay, here's my goal, Amber. I want me to smash Amber, right? So I'm going to go on dates and everything, and you're going to try it out with me. You're just going to date me for a little bit. But in that, you trying me out, seeing if I fit, I've accomplished my goal.
So you're saying all men care about is sex?
What? No.
And that's your objective.
That is the primary objective. That is the primary objective. Because guess what? All the alphabet wouldn't even be matter if it didn't matter about who you sleeping with or this, that, and other. It's just two people choose to. It's none of that. No one else's business. But it's a big thing because it is the goal. It is it's the goal. It is what that's what separate. That's why I'm taking you to Ruth's Chris and I'm taking Kim to McDonald's, because me and Kim are just friends. So she gets McDonald's. But guess what I want to do with you, Amber?
Oh, so yeah. What is okay? So if all men care about is sex, Then what
Bottom
about
line.
men and families, men and marriage, men
It-
and raising children,
It
men and
turns into that.
acquiring wealth?
It turns into that. Men always are, no matter women or not, we're always trying to acquire wealth. And if we find someone to deem that, hey, this is the one and I'm going to create a family with, guess what he does? He puts his everything into her. Now, if she
Why does
doesn't
he want
understand,
to create a family if all he cares about is sex?
it happens. Guess what? My two kids, who I had custody
Okay,
of.
let me see here. I'm going to read the comments. Samara of Facebook said, Nate, stop reading your own book and read another man's book, please.
No,
Yes, thank
tell
you.
her to give me back my class ring and we'll talk about it.
Ooh.
Okay, Kim, you want to chime in here?
Um, I do believe that when men and women first encounter, there could be different types of attraction, because men, I don't
Hunt.
know, I don't know if this is a nature thing or if it's a
Hunt.
belief system, but the physical attraction is often what's going to drive the man. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't do that with women too, but in that sense, I think that men go more physical first because it is their nature to prey. However, that doesn't mean that they have to act on it. It's a belief system. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do with these emotions? What am I going to do with these feelings? I know I'm a man. I know that my nature is working here, but I know women who are like that. They see a man and that's the first thing they think. I want that. So it goes both ways. But when you're talking about relationships, it all goes back to, what are you looking for? So let me do it this way. You have two types of dating. You have intentional dating and you have recreational dating. What you need to know before you engage is, are we on the same page? Are we recreationally dating? Are we just hanging out? We get together every once in a while and that's it? Or am I looking for a husband? Are you looking for a wife? And if that's what you're looking for, what do you want from that man? You have to know what you're doing. And we don't do that. You just jump in, dive in the deep end of the pool and don't know how to swim, hoping that this person is going to rescue you. You should have stayed in the shallow end if you didn't want to go deep. But you saw this person over here and there's something about them that gets your attention. It could be what he's driving. He's looking the part, because let me tell you, everybody look the part ain't the part.
Do. Amen.
Sometimes you don't know that until you're into it. But you have to know personally for yourself your beliefs about dating and what you are stepping out for. Is this recreation or is this intentional? And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 9, well, I say 8. The woman is intentional dating. The man is recreational dating.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning, just as Nita Marie Davis of Facebook said, when you need to ask that question, what is your goal? How often is a man gonna tell you the truth?
He's not, but that he doesn't have to. If you meet a man and he's out to get what you want, he can wait for you to give it to him. You give it up.
It's the Pepe Le Pew. That's why I love Pepe Le Pew. No matter how
For
mono
those,
why are you running?
for
Why are you
those
running?
of us young and supple people out here that don't know Pepe Le Pew, what is that?
Pepe Le Pew is the
Can you
skunk,
can
the
you give
cartoon on the
us?
skunk. And the woman will always be flying her best to get away from him. But he keeps his nice, steady pace and he walks her down. And guess what?
Oh, he's slow walking her.
He
Okay.
slow walks him. He's the biggest pimp. Him and Foghorn Leghorn and Captain Caveman are my 3
Foghorn
teachers.
Leghorn.
Foghorn was a pimp.
Did you really say this?
He
Yes,
said some old stuff that don't nobody know. We gotta be like close.
Our audience, Mel. Our audience know. All y'all know who Foghorn Leghorn was. Everybody say hashtag Foghorn Leghorn if you know. They know he was a pimp and he raised me. But they taught us stuff. Pepe Le Pew. Hey, you can run as far as you want. The guy just sit there, friend zone. Okay. Okay. Next thing you know, you and the Hucklebuck Deluxe talking about, we were just friends and it just happened.
Now you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I often say, this is what I tell my ladies. If you know what the end game is and you know what they want, why would you give it up early without getting what you want?
It's difficult. It's a
And,
difficult game.
and it is a wait. Listen, it's a waiting game. Y'all will be waiting years if you really want it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Because
like,
you're trying to turn
You're
recreation
patient.
into an intention, and that's
you're
not what
the
he's
most
doing.
patient.
But I know Samara won't like this. It's also from the book of Nate. Men know where they place you too. That's wifey material. Oh, that's girl. I can kick it with her friend. We also have a sex zone where you guys have a friend zone. We're like, oh, that's wifey material, and he'll go approach her with wifey intent until she starts talking, until she shows us who she is, because we have the preconceived notions too. But it don't always fall that way. They're like, she was wifey, but man, let's put her down to Happy Meal.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
So when does that occur? Help us out.
After you start talking, as soon as you start talking,
as soon as we start talking, that's when you know what
that's
category we're in.
that's where the scale either stays where it is or it drops.
Oh, okay. So the onset, if you meet somebody and you think that they're a 10. You just meet them, they're a 10. And then they open their mouth and they start speaking, and that lets you know what restaurant to go to.
Let me know where to put them in life. Now, the restaurant is just what I use. But I mean, yeah, no, I'm not gonna marry her. But I mean, I'll stay around. Oh, did I get friends on? Okay, I'm still here. I'm still cool. I'm still charming. I'm still all that stuff. Until it's morning.
Until you smash.
As we lay. But I mean, you don't stop being a friend. It's not just like I got it and I'm done. But there is a method on both sides.
Okay, so you smash. She need help with her phone bill. You hitting her with the "I'm gonna call you back." Let me call you back.
Was I helping her with her phone bill before?
No, but you smashed. So now she figured.
Oh, so
that's what's happening with these younger girls now.
Right.
So once they give up the goods, they feel as though that you owe them
they
something.
Expect. Right. That was never in the contract. Just because we did it. I mean, I was there too. I mean, you said ooh too. So I mean, that's an fair exchange, right?
She could have been lying.
Oh, well, that's on her. Well, it worked. The lie worked. You mad at me because your lie worked? Oh, I'm gonna do this to get him mad. And then, well, why are you so mad?
I'm with Derek Clark on this. Hustling backwards. Exactly.
I can agree.
I agree. That contract, you got to be upfront with it, ladies.
Yeah, he gets a round of applause.
Yeah.
I never got one of those.
How do we fix that, though?
At this age?
Yes.
Or young people, because you're mentioning young people.
Well, the young people have to know that, I mean, they have to come out with an intention. They have to be taught, hey, listen, this is the intention. You know what I mean? All of my friends that have got 30 years plus, I remember them dating in high school. I remember them dating their wives in high school. And they're still with them today. So
And
that's when the catching is good.
Is it because they're used to them? Familiar ground? Like, do I want to get out here and get to know somebody else? Because that has been the commonality, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm just going to stay. I didn't been with this person. I know this person. I don't feel like going out here meeting other people. People say that. That's why they don't get back out in the dating field.
Okay, but guess what? They stayed. Now you see pictures of them flying to Egypt, and you see pictures of them building houses in Florida. That you just staying also helps you in every other way.
Sometimes because I know some people. I know some people who have dated since high school, and they have not been out of the state.
Woo!
And that's because she's putting up, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do whatever it is that I want to do. Like, we've been doing this way. Now all of a sudden you want to listen to your friends, and that's when you get all of that extra stuff coming in. And it's like, this is stuff that I wanted to do, but we still can't go nowhere.
Well, I mean, that's her. If she chose wisely, or her I don't want to blame. It's no blame on that. I had something and I lost it. I'm getting older and older as we speak. But yeah, no.
You do have those. Go ahead, AmberDee. What you have to say?
I just want to kind of circle back to Kim's point as far as your example of these old couples. As far as like knowing yourself and knowing your expectations and what you want and knowing what your mold is. And because these women will get with these men and stay with them for years and years and years, even though they had these expectations of what they wanted, and then they're ignoring that just for safety or comfort, or they haven't acquired anything after all these years of being together, but they're okay with that because some emotional need is fulfilled, and that is their biggest expectation out of a relationship.
And there are some people who honestly believe, because I have to keep going back to what we believe about relationships and what we believe about ourselves in relationships. There are some people who honestly, truly believe that it is a sex exchange for security and money and a nice house and the right car. So some people will say men want sex, women want money. And there are some people who will comply with that. Because that is what they have been taught to believe about how relationships work.
That's their diet.
So that doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. And that's why we have all of these different opinions, because we're all coming from our own belief systems. I can take every single thing we've said on one side and find a couple that matches the other side, because everybody has their own belief system. Couples, there are some couples who've been married for 30 years who will not divorce, because you're not taking everything I worked for and half, or we got to split this up, or I have to start over, or I'm going to stay married to you for 10 years because I'm not leaving until I know I got my 10-year Social Security check coming from you. I mean, there are motives.
Ouch.
There are belief systems that we operate with. And if you're not aware of what you are doing or what you've been taught, that's why we're having this conversation, because we're taking what we believe about relationships and applying them to other people without knowing what they believe about relationships.
Let the church say. She don't get a hand clap for that, Mel?
He does. But we'll be clapping the whole time if we keep doing that with Cam. The entire time. Now, I have to ask this question, because like you said, there's motives. So one who divorces, you've been together a long time and decide, you know what, I don't want your pension. I don't want anything you have. I'm just going to go ahead and leave. What does that do to a male ego?
Woo! Man, oh darn. Okay. I dodged one.
You dodge one? No. If she sits there just like, okay, here's a divorce, and you focused on, I'm gonna have to split this, I'm gonna have to do that, I'm gonna have to do blah 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 blah, and she just says, I don't want anything. I just want out of here and away from you.
Depends on what is happening. It depends on what happened.
I can respect that.
If he cheated,
you're respecting it. Why?
Because I don't have to. Everything that I was responsible for, I built. I'm not paying you to smash someone else. I'm not fitting your bill.
No,
if you leave me, you left me.
No, but you missed it. So you cheat on me.
Okay.
And I say, oh, I'm done. And you're like, okay, well, we have children. We have A, B, C, and D, and da, 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 da.
Children.
And I say, I don't want anything. I just want away from you. You can have the cars. You can have everything. Here's the thing. It's not you built. It's you both built.
Well, I mean, there'll be feelings. You're gonna hurt any divorce for.
But isn't that what you want, though? Nothing.
What do you mean?
That's what all you care about is the material assets.
No. I care. What I'm caring about is my ability to live and not having to move in my mama's house because your feelings have changed or whatever has happened
because of your action.
Okay, yeah. got you. I got you because of my actions. Would decide I have to move in the marriage playing field is not fair to men. It's not. So that's why we're so leery about tipping into it. And to get out of it, feelings aside, I'm relieved.
Okay, go ahead. Wait, I want to hear what Kim had to say. Go ahead.
So what if it happens this way? You're doing everything right. You didn't cheat. And you're the provider and you're the family man and you're doing everything that she believes or you believe is supposed to be done. And she walks in and says, I want nothing. I'm walking away from it all. Does that change your perspective on that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that women are usually feeling everything is done with their feelings. So if she changes how she feels, which is every 20, 30 minutes, I can be put out, or I can
we're talking about she's done. It's over.
Got you.
So the feeling is it's over.
Got you. I will go take a shower, because that's where you cry at as a man, because no one can see the tears. Go take a shower, reevaluate myself, get over the hurt, but I have to get back on my horse, and I have to go out there and work. I have to go do what I'm doing to survive.
Okay, so
because as she said, I have been the provider. I have been this. I thought I was doing good. Apparently I wasn't. Her feelings have changed. And if I can get out of it with the rest of my life, doing what I do, crying or whatever the case may be, I am not hindered to say, well, her feelings have changed. So now I owe her $7,000 a month in alimony. Why? Because her feelings changed and she left.
So what does that change about the way you feel about your belief in relationships with women? What happens to the next woman that comes along?
Don't know. And that's where the healing has to come in, because I want to give her a clean slate. Because like everyone on here say AmberDee is a womanizer or a manizer, but she's not that way to me. So guess what? She gets the path. I give everyone their own slate. So if AmberDee's a red flagging manizer, that's how she is to everyone. But man, she might not be that way to me. So I have to give her an even slate. I still remember the lessons that I was taught from the last, but I can't apply them to AmberDee, even though I don't like her.
Goes back to Mel's question of the week. Should there be a time frame then between the last relationship and the new?
No, not really. But like I said,
you just was crying in the shower.
Huh? Hey, don't let that out, Mel. Bleep that part out. A man looks at it as a woman. Any woman on here, do you frivolously smash? Just on the frivolous.
Some women do. Some women do.
I said on this panel.
Oh, come on, man! Anybody on that? Let Amber.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If I married you, I know you're not.
This show is for educational purposes. That's why we got it. So go ahead. I need to hear AmberDee's.
All I wanted to say was, so marriage is unfair to men because life is unfair to women. Women are burdened with carrying the baby and are historically, across all cultures or races, all throughout time, are typically the ones abandoned with the children. Okay? When historically, even in Bible times, men can get up and walk away whenever they felt like it, and there would be nothing. There would be, because women weren't even considered human beings for a very long time period. So marriage is hard on men because life is hard on women, especially when you choose to get little children involved into it.
Oh, okay, so it was hard on women back then. What is it now? Is this the woman's reparation? Is this the marriage reparation?
Equal.
Equal is not. Here we go. Mel, I have to go back. Hey, me and Amber, me and you go to a bar and we're both broke. Who comes out drunk?
Look at that.
Who comes out drunk?
Wait. To your point, Nate, Aaron Adair said right at the same moment, men have to work for everything, women do not. And then you came with that example.
That you don't have. Look, if we go to the bar, Amber, me and you, both broke, which one comes out drunk?
I would.
Exactly. There's nothing in my closet that I can wear to make you say, ooh, look at those gray sweats. Let me get you a drink, dude.
Right, but we
Ooh.
talked about this. We touched on the changing
Exactly.
gender roles in society. And thank you, Samara. DJ Smeech Hearns of Facebook said marriage is more of an insecurity for women now because you got more and more women paying alimony in divorce.
More and more. The percentage, I guarantee, and I haven't looked, it's under 3%. What? It's well under 3%. Oh, okay. Whoopi. Who else? Who else?
Mary J. Blige, Jill Scott, Wendy Williams.
Whoa, Jill Pam?
oh yeah,
Y'all.
Oh, I gotta call Jill. Girl, you shouldn't have to go through that alone.
Yeah, Mary J. Blige, Jill Scott.
And
There's a
Wendy
handful of
Williams.
them.
And Wendy Williams.
And Wendy Williams.
Okay, let me pick out a few. Let me pick out a few, shall we? Michael Jordan, Dr. Dre, now those
Dr. Dre should. He beat the daylights out of her.
And they were together for like 20 plus years. She put in her
But
time.
if you leave, where do
Prison
you
time
leave?
in.
Where do you leave and still take the product? When you went to Ruth Chris, they gave you a steak, right? They treated you real nice in there. When you left Ruth Chris, what did you take?
Leftovers.
This is why me and Amber don't get along. Just right here. Hold on, who else I got? Eddie Murphy.
You definitely
Eddie
left
Murphy,
with
that's another one.
something in your hand.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do, right?
You're supposed to do. Thank you.
Yeah, that seems fair.
All right, Noel, Celeste Vegas of Facebook said 2 in every 10. That's a lot. That's crazy because we balancing it.
Exactly.
The scale is being
It's balancing. It's still imbalanced, but it's balancing. And that, yeah, absolutely.
So
More
at
women
what
are
rate?
hesitant to marry because
At
more
what
women have
rate
Okay,
would
wait.
you-
Let me get to what the title of today's show is, which is compatibility mode change. And we talked about people being in relationships for a long period of time. You said high school dating and married the whole nine, and they're still together. Somebody is stagnant. I hope not, because of compatibility mode change.
Yeah.
Reason being, you may have been compatible at one time. When we talk about the love language, you got the 5 love language: words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and gifts, receiving gifts. So your love language is going to change as you age. It is very important for your mate to match that and not say, like the example I gave earlier, oh, you're just around your friends and they traveling and now you want to travel.
Ready?
What you got?
Ready?
Go
This
ahead.
is where the submission whole thing comes in. Because if you chose a mate and that you married and you're following, you're going to follow his cues. That's what submission is. Now, if he's listen, I took our money and invested it in Enron instead of Apple. You would have to go with that as his helpmate. His helpmate. Your feelings have changed, and now you've been listening to them. So now I'm messed up. If you are submissive to your husband and believes in his vision,
feelings, see, that's where there's a discrepancy. Not your feelings have changed, your love language has changed.
Okay, guess what?
Your feelings start changing because you're not paying attention because you want somebody to be submissive.
I am paying
attention. Not your love language.
I am paying attention. As a man, you have to play chess. Every move is calculated and see where it is. So I'm driving the ship. Now you're mad because I didn't go the same way you wanted it to go. But I'm still driving the ship. So guess what? Hey, look, yo, dog. Hey, man, there was a storm that way. The dam broke. We can't go that way. We got to go that way. So I'm listening to my friends, and I changed course.
No. Here's the thing. Wait. And I got you, AmberDee. I'm listening to my friends, and that's not why I'm changing. I'm tired of this old raggedy ship. So my love language has changed. Can we paint this mug? I ride on this mug, but can we paint it? Can we throw a new sail on it?
If you want it that bad, guess what?
Ship?
I'm control of making sure it runs. Why don't you make sure how it looks? That's on you. You can paint this mug pink. As long as the engine is running and I know where we're going, I don't care what you do. You sit here and what? These flowers, this color gray is off. We're
You
getting
need
to
to
where
tell
we need
her.
to be.
She need words of affirmation. Go ahead, AmberDee.
So, okay, so my question is, what if it's not that her love language has changed? What if her priorities has changed? You know, because they say that, you know, you change, people's needs change like every decade, right? People
Absolutely,
change.
with your love, there's a
So
possibility
what
that
if
your love
her
language
needs,
will
not,
change.
it's not her feelings, but
Gotcha.
her needs,
Yeah.
her priorities have
Right.
changed because she's a human being and
Gotcha.
she's evolving as we're all supposed to
So,
evolve.
so am I saying, okay, I have to provide for her, I have to protect her, I have to worry about how when her feelings change, I have to do all of these things to make her happy so she doesn't leave me. And what I feel is our end goal hasn't changed. I'm still trying to get us to a spot where we're comfortable and we can do it. But I have to do all of, I have to fight this battle. I have to fight the T-Rex in front of me and then worry about how you're feeling about the shit behind me. Listen, if your compatibility changed, good luck. Go out there and find, hey, you don't have to slum it with me. You ain't got to slum it with me.
You're
Get
wrong
out the
for
boat,
that.
find somebody else who got the
You're
boat for
wrong.
your color and everything else like that, and bye.
You're wrong, because
No,
guess what?
okay, so
There's no
the
boy.
foundation of Nate's argument is that women are not allowed to change. We're not allowed to evolve. And we have to stay the same people we were 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. We're not allowed to fall out of love with our partner. As long as he's paying
Well,
our
say
bills,
that.
that's all that's supposed
No,
to matter.
Wait, I gotta listen. I gotta hear her.
So, like, I believe we're all humans. We all have feelings, and everyone changes, and we should all focus on growth and change. And sometimes people grow apart, and it's not so much it's the man's fault or it's the woman's fault. Y'all are just on different paths.
Gotcha.
But
So
it's
why
like,
should I have to pay for it?
Mind, a woman's not allowed to have a path because she's just supposed to she's just supposed to follow her husband. She's supposed to do whatever he
Because that's
thinks.
what it sounds like. He said.
Well, guess what? I'm sorry y'all take it that way, but you black women are losing because you take it that way.
Are black women
You're losing because I can't believe you don't want me to change the stuff.
Okay, go ahead. We gonna put him out for a second. What you got to say? What you got to say to that? What you got to say to that, Kim?
Okay.
Take the time out.
Okay. Now I'm about to be on the hot seat. I see what he was saying, because in his mind, that is his role in the relationship. He's not saying that a woman can't have a voice. He's not saying that a woman can't change. He's not saying that. What he is saying is, if my role is provider, the man, we have to, okay. It's funny because Steve Harvey said, act like a woman, think like a man. As a man, he's not saying you have to submit to me. My role is to make sure this stuff is happening. And if you want to go and do something else, as long as this is happening, he is not stressing it. Feelings get in the way of our decision to commit. It's not just my feelings have changed. You've committed yourself to this person. So that is why that's why you have to know what you're getting into before you step into it, because you have to say, this is who I intend to be with for the rest of my life. When the changes happen, because by now we all know that I'm in my 50s, I'm 58. I'm definitely not who I was at 48 or 28 or 18. So if change is going to happen, are we stepping into this the same way? That doesn't mean that changes are not going to happen. That doesn't mean there's not going to be discrepancy, but we're committed to the growth of the relationship. What, Nate? I can't hear you. Did she mute you?
She might have muted him. But I think that, there's the saying that, women expect men to change and men expect women to never change. But life is change.
Well, okay, so I come from a different place because I don't believe that. I believe that everybody changes, but everybody has to be committed to the process that they've committed to. You have to be committed to what. So if two people get married and the woman, you expect to have a wife that is always going to be a homemaker. You expect that she's never going to want to do more. That's something that you tell her you want way back 30 years ago. You don't wait until the kids are grown and she says, okay, well, the kids are grown. I've done what I need to do. I want to go out and work. And you look and say, Well, no, because it's never been that way. So why should it be that way now? You have to know in the beginning where you're going. Because like Mel said, I'm not going to just sit here and submit to you. I don't want you to be a wimp. If I didn't want you crying when we got married, don't cry now. We take things for granted. We don't look at what the other person is expecting from us because sometimes we don't know. Well, I guess I should have told you 30 years ago that I wanted to be a housewife and then I wanted to be a lawyer. Maybe we should have talked about our dreams and our goals. We don't talk. We don't get to know each other because we don't know ourselves, especially when you marry young. So you marry somebody before you even know who you are. You don't know who they married. And then as you go through life and you continue to grow, then it says, we're going separate ways. Well, are we really going separate ways, or are we just getting to know ourselves and we're trying to do this together? Because at some point in time, it's like, well, you do you, I'll do me. Is that really what it's supposed to be like? Is that what it's supposed to be about? We have to go back to what we believe a relationship is, what we believe marriage is for. The first time you marry for love, the second time you marry for money. All this stuff is in your brain all the time, and you don't even realize it's influencing you.
And that is factual.
Men run the house. Do they really run the house? And the reality, men go and make the money. Women have always run the house. That man comes home, honey, where's my shirt? Honey, what's for dinner? Honey, where's this? Where's that? The woman is running the house anyway. But we don't see it that way because the man may feel intimidated if the woman wants to go out and she come home and ask him what's for dinner. You have to be secure with who you are in order to facilitate change in a positive way. Now, we can have this debate all day long, but that's really what it's going to come back to.
Yeah, what you got, AmberDee?
I have a question for Kim. So, and it's talking about you're talking about, knowing what you want, knowing who you want to be, and how hard it is to know that when you're very young. And I think that no one knows the future. And sometimes our feelings change and things happen that that you weren't planning. You didn't think. You said, oh, I never thought I'd be in this position. So when it comes to a relationship and getting to know someone and connecting, what is your opinion on accounting for the unknowns of life? And how do you fairly respond to coming into a situation maybe neither one of you were expecting 20, 30 years down the road?
And that goes back to how you solve problems, how you deal with conflict in the first place. How do you deal with change? I believe that people should have what are called 2 life books. One life book is where I see things going. One life book is where he sees things going. But when we come together, let's look at our life books and say, okay, when we get to this point, if we get to this point, how do we handle it? Sometimes we don't deal with a crisis until it's right in your face, but you got a fire extinguisher on the wall in case you have a fire that never happens. We take more care of things around us than we take care of what's within us. And that's a big part of the problem with everything. You got insurance on your car, you got insurance on your house. You don't want your stuff to burn down, but your heart is always broken. Does that make sense?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Speak on it.
You have to communicate with people. You have to be comfortable communicating with your spouse. You have to be comfortable saying, okay, I see what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. You have to be comfortable to take the heat. Sometimes you are wrong. Sometimes you are falling behind. Sometimes that person just doesn't know any better and you're thinking they're out to get you, but they really don't know any better. No. But if you never talk about it, you just get resentment building up. It's an everyday process. It's like AA. You count your days.
Now this is, I want to dig deeper into this. When I was talking about the love language and Nate was shutting it down, and you said you have to communicate and be comfortable in communicating in your relationship. If I was in a relationship with Nate, he wasn't hearing me saying that my love language is changing. So now I am silenced in this marriage.
How is Nate about other stuff? Because it ain't just you. That's a personality issue. That ain't a husband-wife issue.
Look at him. He's a mess. He is a mess. Oh, you lucked out today.
Dark skin power. Dark skin power.
AmberDee, I need you to read that comment.
Okay. So Aaron Adair of Facebook said, sort of, Natesky. Submission actually means sub, under, or support. Mission, so to be submissive means to support one's mission. So the Bible's definition of submission isn't to be subordinate, but to support your husband's mission, as long as that mission lines up with God's word.
Y'all know I had to keep that one up there. That was up there for about
Forever.
40 minutes.
Hey, Aaron.
Okay, I had to put that up there. That's a good word.
Barring the first part of it.
Okay,
But even though we're joking around, do you see how Nate is while we're joking and laughing and the things he's saying? That's Nate.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when he comes for you, it ain't coming for you. He's being Nate.
Thank you. Let the church say.
No,
that one.
now, if he just woke up all brand new like this, we'd be like, okay, before we even get to my mission, what's going on with you? Because you're changing up. You have to be in tune to each other. And that way you can sort of subdue some of this other animosity, some of the conflict. What we tend to do is wait until the tension is so high that by the time it comes out, we've gone straight pressure cooker. Ain't no going back. Don't crock pot your way to blowing up. Start dealing with it when you see that it's a problem. And oftentimes it's like, well, you got to pick your battles and you got to let it go. And if they're doing this, then we shouldn't care about them doing that.
And see, that's a lot of the problem because it starts off like that.
Small.
And then it is combustible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, that's minor. Then you have somebody be like, well, yeah, that's a little thing. Yeah, I'll let that go. And then boom. But then if you decide, okay, well, let me say this is an issue for me right now, and this is now, then it's you're a nagger. So it's like,
yeah.
Which way are we going? I want to let's read this comment real quick.
Okay, so Samara DJ Smeech Hearns of Facebook said, Nate, you really like to diminish a woman's feelings changing, and a relationship is a chore for you. I have to. Change isn't always compatibility. It could be. She sees bigger things for you both and wants to do that with you. She is trying to figure it out as the idea comes, and you may have to have many conversations before the bigger picture comes into focus.
Okay. And I want to put this out there. Wait, let me say this in Nate's defense. Nate is the agitator, but Nate is just speaking from a male's perspective. So don't be coming down like Nate, like blah blah blah. Nate is not a prick.
It's cool. I appreciate that, but I don't need that. I mean, if you perceive me a certain way, if you're fortunate enough to get to know me, then you'll know me. So you guys know me. The latest one being AmberDee, and we still working things out. But Tim, and you know me, and a lot of people know me. So you hear me and what I feel and how I look at things, then you got your own opinion of me. That's fine with me. Hey, the 3F.
That's why you the agitator.
Well, yeah, I enjoy it. But what she's saying is conversation. I want to disagree with conversation and say it's. I had the word starts with a C. I said it before. It's comprehension. You can talk until you're blue in the face, and like in my personal. It's me, it's you, and then it's the relationship. So if we're not working towards the relationship, I don't care about my feelings on certain things or her feelings on a certain thing. It's the relationship. And that's how we choose to build. So a lot of the stuff that's saying ain't for my personal. It's just me being a man and like, yeah, scratching and farting. That's all this is.
Now, I heard her say relationships are a chore.
That's what Aaron is saying.
Well, no, Samara said that. Samara Smeechy said it first.
Okay.
And then he commented here.
What's her stats?
It said, wait, they take work to flourish. My thoughts on that, to me, a relationship should not be a chore. This is something I am not going to agree to do some hard labor. I'm just not. I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's get together because for some hard work. No, let's get together for a good time and some fun. I don't want to work.
Here's the thing. You have to see, like I said, Mel, a man to take a lot more from you than he would somebody else. Your lane. If this is your lane, it's not going to be a hard work. But if your lane's not like that, it might take some work. And like I say, the true work begins when you say I do. That's how I feel about it. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Because me and Amber went out and, other than that Happy Meal and that foot long, ain't no work. Yeah, it's a foot long hot dog. She enjoyed, not hot dog, I'm sorry. Foot long Subway sandwich,
Oh, you got a sub. You got lettuce, girl.
See, lettuce, tomatoes. Hey, we had a good time. Wasn't hard work. That's a relationship. It wasn't hard. Hey, meet me at the Subway, girl. All right. Oh, you look so good. No, pretty. Words of affirmation, physical touch. And I'm done. That's not hard work. But if I said I do with Kim, Lord, I got to make sure we get the money for this damn thing. Okay, I'm all right. All right. Well, she want to go on vacation, so I got to get out here and work this overtime, so we have a little spending money. Yeah, but we're gonna have fun on that. I don't want to. That's more work than a relationship. Other outside of marriage, to me.
Okay, example. I'm like, Nate, let's go to Montego Bay in February.
Okay.
And you'd be like, oh, I can't go. And I'd be like, oh, all right, but I go. Is that a problem?
Only if you expected me to pay for all Montego Bay, and when I didn't, you didn't offer to pay for me. It's like, oh, well, I got my money. Pew. But if we went to Montego, you wouldn't offer your money. You would expect me to pay, right?
Pay for yourself. That's me, though.
Oh, okay. So are we going Dutch? Are we going Dutch?
Not all the time. I hope you'll pay for a dinner.
Whoa. We said Montego Bay. Are we going Dutch, or am I supposed to pay for it?
Me personally, Dutch.
Okay, well, Dutch.
Dutch. I think for a big expensive vacation and you're together, Dutch, absolutely. But a date?
How many women think like this?
Yeah. No.
How many women would you say?
I think a lot of women think like that.
How many women would you say Dutch? Give me a percentage.
I think a lot, especially Black women. I think Black women are most likely to go Dutch.
I haven't been out there for a while, things. But something in me says, nah, I disagree.
If you are married, then yes, the responsibility usually lies on one or the other, mostly the husband.
Right.
If you are married.
Right.
But if you're dating and having a good time, I think that, to me, if you do things like that,
well, I'm not mad at you.
Dutch and you have your own spending money, both parties have a good time, because what'll happen is somebody running out of money and the other person chilling and just buying shopping, buying souvenirs, somebody drinking. Like, I think things like that should be.
Well, to answer your question, if we were going Dutch and I can't go and you went by yourself, I can't be mad at that. Now I'm saying, oh no, we can't go to Montego because it's not in my budget or our budget or whatever the case may be. And then you pull some money out your behind and you go by yourself. Hope you packed everything you got.
You're crazy. All right, Kim, you want to read that comment?
But relationships are work, and anything worth having is worth working for. I agree with that because I'm sorry. I agree. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I agree with that because you have to look at what that person in that relationship means to you, because parenthood is nothing but work, at least the first 18 years.
Okay, without children. Let's.
Okay, but it's the same mindset. You are committing to someone who has your heart. If you're not feeling that way, then don't do it, because it takes us back to Amber. People are changing. Things are happening. You have to be willing to see how to roll with that, how to communicate with each other. I want to go back to, though, the marriage and the Dutch. And we're assuming, because now we got to go back. I got to keep doing this because we don't do it. We got to go back to the belief system. we modern women are coming from the mindset that we got our own, he has his own. Where's the joint account where we both paying?
Oh, you have that too. But let me tell you, ladies, have yours, let him have his, and y'all have one together.
That's right. But the one together is Montego Bay. That's Montego Bay.
There it is.
Paying for it. Now, dating, that's a whole nother animal. Although for some people, it's not, because you think you in love and married before you ever get there. That's why you have a lot of problems anyway. But that's another topic. So, yeah, you have to realize that everything worth having is going to cost you effort. I remember my first year at Kent State, majoring in nursing. I cried the whole 16 weeks. So I called my cousin, and I'm waiting for sympathy. And she said, if becoming a nurse was easy, everybody would become one and there'd be no value in it. No sympathy at all. Because when you get married today and you thinking you want to live another 50 years, you have to be in the position to put some effort into it. You have to be in position to communicate and comprehend. Good. That was good, Nate.
Amen.
Talking at people, thinking they understand where you're coming from. But if the frame of reference is different, if what I saw for marriage growing up is different from what you saw in marriage growing up, I may not understand what you're saying. So yeah, you have to communicate on the level of the person you're talking to. Yeah, it is. Aaron's talking to me. But you have to realize that when you are speaking, it is the responsibility of the speaker to make sure the listener understands. If they're not hearing you, are they not hearing you, or are they not understanding you?
Or are they ignoring you?
Or
well, either way, guess what? No communication is done. You know how many words I messed up on this show and you corrected me, but you still know what I meant? We still communicated.
True.
And you understood.
True.
We understand that too. Check yourself. No.
Oh, okay. All right, what you got, AmberDee? What you got?
Nothing.
I was just gonna say, just to point out a different perspective, even though I agree that marriage is work, especially parenthood is work. But there's another saying that the best things in life are free, and the things that we value most don't cost money. And that people on their deathbeds don't say, man, I wish I worked more. Wish I took another shift at my job. I wish I stayed in the office more before I died. People don't say that. So, and it's those intangible things. And it's like, if you're so unself-aware that you aren't even aware of like the intangibles that are really important to you, then it's impossible to expect someone else to be able to fulfill you. And that's why I disagree with Nate when he is saying that it's a man's job is to make a woman happy, when it's all of our jobs to make ourselves happy. Like, our own happiness is our own responsibility.
Time out. Nate said a man's job is never to make. My job ain't to make you happy. My job is to make sure you're okay.
Go ahead, fix that. Yeah.
Make sure you're okay. To make sure you're taken care of. Your happiness is your responsibility.
Stability. Okay. Do you want to read that, AmberDee?
Okay, so Marie Randolph of Facebook said, I'm married and our trips are funded jointly. And while dating, it was the same. We both work. We both go in on everything together.
That's intentional dating. You go, girl. See,
okay,
before they got married, that's intentional dating.
I guess I be dating intentionally. I don't pay. I'm like, I don't pay. But and when I have gone, out of the country, it was paid for. It was an invite. Remember we had that question?
Yes, I remember that episode.
The person that invites you are paying. It's their responsibility to pay. But in this case, like if somebody comes, if they invite you on if somebody is inviting you, especially like a trip, I'll pay for the food. I don't have a problem with that. I don't expect you to fund the entire thing. But there has to be a discussion, because your girl ain't going out of the country with you, because see, I ain't got time to be on the next Lifetime story. Like, no, not doing that. But I just feel like I ain't paying. I'm serious. I'm not. If you invite me, you wanted to pay. If I invite you, I'll pay. If we have a discussion and be like, oh, hey, you thinking about going? You thinking about? Yeah, let's see. How much is it? You want to go? We can go in. You have to have that discussion prior to. But that's nice, intentional dating. But I will stand firm on it. If a relationship takes work, and this is at the onset, if you gotta work to date somebody, y'all not the two. Why are you forcing something? If it don't fit, don't force it. We could just be cool. This ain't gonna work. I'm not coming to. Why both of us struggling? Like, why both of us struggling to make something work? You do you, get yourself together. I do me, I get myself together. And then if it's gonna be, it'll be whatever time that is. But this is not the time. Timing is everything. That's just me. So take my advice or not. I ain't working. Now, if I'm married, different, because now I'm in it. I'm in this contract. We married, okay, a relationship takes work. But once you step out, I'm out, and you can have everything. I'm done. And I did it.
Work in this conversation is being perceived as a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a long distance relationship,
and he with you. Look who with you. Aaron was like, the thing is what makes you think working is.
That's right. Work does not have to necessarily be a negative thing.
When you work since you was 15, work is hard.
Going out unless you go into a job you like. Now, if you enjoy what you're doing, then you can look at work differently than you doing something that you don't want to do. So let's say that two people, they hook up and, one of them is living here or one has to move because their job is taking them somewhere. But the two of you really got something going on and you want to try to make this situation work. You put some effort into it. Okay, will our finances support it? How much distance is between us? Can I fly to you? Can you drive to me?
See, that's not work. That's not work.
Effort. See, effort. The definition of work is something that costs you effort.
Right. Well, I learned today that effort is different than work. Gotcha.
Right. But they don't necessarily have to be. If you're cleaning up your house and you're doing your housework, some people get relaxed doing that. If you're doing your yard work, you're doing something for a better end. Work does not have to be. So now we're going to our belief system because some people.
Okay. Let me be clear. See, communication is key. Yes, you do have a definition. I agree with you guys. Mental and physical effort is work, but you also have the definition of work as a task being undertaken, and that's the definition that I was on. The definition 1 or 2.
Well, Samara was wrong. As always, she should have said effort.
She should have said work definition 1, not work. See, I'm on work definition 2, or whatever you want to call it.
But do you see what Mel and I just did? We took the same word, looked at our belief systems about it, and said, "Okay, let's backtrack here and get on the same page." People don't do that. Everybody gets defensive, everybody falling out, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, what just happened here?
Yeah, you cancel culture. This is too much work. Cancel culture.
You said cancel gonna be like, boom, I'm out. Like, right. So I get it. Okay, so now I'm understanding where we are on that definition. So effort's a good word. Yes. And there's effort. You'll travel. You'll do. I've done some things. Very seldom, but I've done some things. So I guess I'm with it now. Look at her like, I guess. I have last week.
I wasn't going to say it. I just want my money.
I see your face.
I just want my money.
I was on a business trip.
Yeah.
I was on a business trip.
See the big lips?
But I did, listen. You silly. But hey, listen. Y'all know I'm about my money. If it's a way to make some dollars, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
The right way. And I'm going to enjoy myself. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, compatibility mode change. Back to that. Should there be, or how, not even should, how would one go about that compatibility mode change since we do change? and we change, what is it? Our allergies change every 7 years. Personality, they say, air quotes for the listening audience, changes every 10 years. Why wouldn't our love language change?
It would change, but I mean, is it gonna?
Is what?
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. How do you address that with your mate? Be like, thank you, I appreciate, like, you know, some people were touchy-feely at the beginning, at the onset of the relationship. They like to cuddle. And then all of a sudden now you're not into cuddling. And then it's like you changing. Yeah, you know already, oh, you changing.
Because I bought the cow, now I own it. No, I just agitate. I'm sorry.
Like, you know, what changed? Well, you act like you don't want me on you anymore. Maybe the love language changed and nobody stepped out, or nobody's looking somewhere else or have other interests. And it might just be something just like love language change.
Well, I mean, in that situation, everyone knows that, you know, it's fun. It's even fun sneaking around. As in the book, how the wife came to thing.
How the wife becomes the other woman?
Right. But once you're okay, I can't sneak around. It's no fun doing it on my mama's couch. You know, it's fun doing it on your mama's couch. Now you got your own couch. You'll be like, we did that last week.
It's not the same.
I mean, things change. I mean, you just have to, I don't know. I'm trying to agitate.
So what ideas, what you got? Go ahead, AmberDee. You sound
Well, I think it goes both ways, but I feel like it's just also human nature to become complacent and to experience boredom when you're exposed to the same thing over and over. Like, and that's not even just in romantic, like just anything. If you're repeatedly exposed to the same thing, you're going to become desensitized, and there will be a lack of anticipation because you know it's coming. You already know what to expect.
Yeah, like, you know, signature moves.
Okay, so if she do another move on you, then you accuse her of stepping out, or vice versa.
Well, I mean, kind of, but I mean, shoot, at my age, it's a line dance. Pump 3 times, boom, boom. Now, get up.
Ain't no chandelier, ain't no chandelier hanging.
Pump to the left, pump to the right. Now hit that. Now doggy style. Do. No, boss the crap.
Oh my gosh, y'all crazy. A mess.
Hey.
But
we're married.
Let's see. Now, okay, Aaron A. Deer on Facebook says, so it is feelings change and not compatibility. See, no, it's not feelings at all.
Yeah, it is.
No, the feelings come after, but with the compatibility, like I was saying, you spend quality time with me, and that's my love language, quality time, not doing time. So Joe Burns, don't write me. Quality time. I like people to spend quality time with me, and then it's like, okay, I'm busy now. Watch this. I'm busy. I ain't got time for that. You don't buy me gifts, so now my love language, my compatibility mode changed, where I like gifts because I'm not available. But I'm speaking because I'll take responsibility for that.
But what
so you brought me gifts that I feel like, so I guess you're right. There's the feeling. I'm like, oh, he cares.
Here's the thing. What else changed? Okay, we can't spend quality time anymore because my shift at the mill, my shift at the mill changed. I'm working afternoon or midnight. So guess what? Does that mean?
Hours.
Okay, but that means everything. It wasn't purposely. So I mean, okay. So what's the big deal? You ready to throw all of this away? Because the shift change and I can't cuddle with you.
Nobody's trying to throw it away. That's why I'm trying to get avenues for people who are having those issues.
Be an adult.
And believe
it's called adulting.
Or thinking that somebody is stepping out, and that's not the case. People change.
Talk about it.
It's called adulting.
Because Nate's going from the perspective that you never told him that your love language changed.
Well, Not
You
a
just
total.
said,
There's other.
when she says send me flowers, okay, well, she's told you what she wanted, but you said, okay, well, now I know. So what you have to do is, okay, your example is perfect. I like quality time, but right now my time is needed doing other things. The conversation comes, I know we haven't spent time together, but I would really, appreciate it if maybe, I don't know, just a card, a text, something. What do you need from him? We assume that people know what we want from them. You have to, it's a communication thing. You have to talk about it. You have to share it. You have to make sure that the other person understands what you need. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people who are afraid to share what they need because they don't want to turn the other person off.
That's the great segue to my book, All Men Are Dogs. Great thing.
You've got to be able to speak up for yourself. And a lot of times we don't.
Go ahead. What you got, AmberDee?
And then as Kim touched on, that fear, if you have a fear to share how you feel because you're afraid it's gonna, the way that person's gonna respond to it, or it's gonna make them reject you or turn you away, that's within you that you need to fix. And that you're valuing that person's response more than validating yourself. And being I have a right and a reason to tell my partner how I feel. Like you're literally putting your own needs and shutting yourself down because you're afraid of how they're going to respond. And usually, and I feel like a lot of times, it's because you know how they're going to respond.
And that's how one partner.
Like you already know, and that's why you're afraid.
And that's right. That's how one partner is actually silenced. And then you look like, how did that relationship get there? You want to read the comment?
Billy is right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
So
ahead.
Billy Copeland. Oh, okay. Billy Copeland, attorney, Facebook said, Nate said, be an adult equals on point. You cannot hold people responsible for your unexpressed desires.
That's true.
Can I get the hand clap? Come on, Mel.
All right. Let me get on it. I'm on it. Look, let me hurry up and get on it. I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. Look. I'm coming. Where you at? Where's it at? Okay.
Thanks, Kim.
There you go.
It would have made me feel better if it was on time.
Production off sick. I'm trying.
Doing good, man.
Okay, so I want to make sure you guys' comments are up there because your comments mean a lot. Real talk.
Read that one.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, so okay. No.
No, I'm not. So where can I get it? I'm asking. Don't even worry about it. Look, don't even worry about it, AmberDee. Yes.
Okay, I was trying.
I was saying, talking about, outside circumstances, but usually outside circumstances cause the issues on the inside. And we know that it's usually the outside that's causing the problem on the inside in everything.
But here.
Would you say? But somebody is walking on eggshells, and that's what you want to prevent. Just as AmberDee was saying, it's like, even you said be an adult. Talk. Yes, but if you know who you're dealing with, and if it's like just beating a dead horse, not really, just a figure of speech, animal people, PETA people. If that's the case, it's like, why do I even say anything? Is it worth it? Because this is going to cause an argument. Do I feel like dealing with this? So one of the partners are silenced. And once that person is silenced, yes, feelings definitely will come into play because you don't value their opinion, which will cause their feelings to be hurt. And I'll be like, I'm out.
So your choices are, I don't like how he's going to respond, or I'm going to keep it to myself. And then, so you're perpetuating.
Your choices are say it and get in an argument, or just keep it to myself, put up or shut up. That's the choices.
Okay, so guess what? If you don't do any of those, you're going to get to the destination that takes you. You don't say any of those. If you don't put up, it goes down this way. If you shut up, it goes down this way. So either way, you're going to get to where you go.
Okay, let's get to the purpose of the show. You want to read that, AmberDee, for Kim?
Sure. So Artemis Damone of Facebook said, do love languages change?
Absolutely.
I mean,
they change in priority. And I'll say male, because you're giving the example of quality time. So you're saying I appreciate quality time, but now I don't have that time to give to the relationship. So the gift is something that I would rather have. That doesn't mean that quality time is no longer an issue for you. It may have changed in priority. I think that in a way, at some point in time, all the love languages matter. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone that you never touch, although you don't need touch to know that that person loves you, or that, if they don't give you a gift on Monday, that might be different if they don't give you a gift on your birthday. So yes, a love language can change, but I think you should look at some of them in terms of which ones are the priority that you feel you need to thrive in the relationship. So to answer the question, yeah, I would say yes, they can change, but they change in priority, not necessarily in need.
So it sounds like for fellas, and let me say this. It's interesting how more men have to pay attention to the female's love language versus the female paying attention to the male's love language. It's equally important, but it happens to be that way. What you were saying, of course, I agree 110 on the prioritizing, but especially with newlyweds that are out there. And let me say this was a question. And I love your question. So keep inboxing me, it's for regarding the shows that we do. Trying to keep the spice alive, trying to make sure that you're doing what you deem, air quotes, is right in a marriage or relationship. There's the effort. It's a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of effort. And with the whole receiving gifts, the relationship started off, and I'll give you this. I didn't want to do it at the beginning, but since we're coming to a close, I'll give you this. The relationship started with gifts. The gifts are now becoming, they're expected. So it's not the same excitement that they had at the beginning when they got the gifts are no longer. Mm-hmm. So that's where the question came. Does, compatibility change? And when that mode changes, how do I change with it? So there's the question for today's show.
A relationship is going to go one of two ways. It's going to thrive because of growth, or it's going to suffocate with little growth. So that's an individualized question, because let's say, for example, the relationship started with gifts and then life happens. I'm working more, or we're having kids, expenses change. Maybe the resources are different. Why, I'm expecting a gift. Does the gift have to get bigger in order for it to not be so predictable? Does it have to be a little less tangible? Maybe a date night is better than going out on a date. So you get creative with it. Is it even necessary? Talk to that person. Your love language is gifts, but what other things can we do to keep the spice in our relationship? Because that is what you have to do. You have to let the other person know how you're feeling, and you have to be honest with how you feel. Sometimes those don't match, but then you have to go to what Nate said earlier. We have a relationship here. So at the time that you're feeling this discord or this disconnect, or now you're just expecting it doesn't have the same impact, where do we go from here? How do we keep the spice? How do you do these things? It's a conversation. A lot of things, believe it or not, a lot of things go unsaid in a marriage. A lot of things are taken for granted. And that's one thing that you should be careful not to do. Not saying you, I'm saying me, I'm saying all of us. Don't take your spouse for granted. Don't take your circumstances for granted. Appreciate the person that you married. Appreciate that just as you're changing, they may be changing. But until you can talk about where we're going, if we're on the same page, you're just going to be sitting there frustrated. And you're so silly. And some of the things that become the problem is because you didn't work them out before you got married. Marriage doesn't make it better. Sometimes marriage makes it worse. Make sure that you have your priority standards addressed before you get into a marriage. You have standards and then you have deal breakers. Make sure if you see a deal breaker ahead of time, don't think it's going to get better just because you had a beautiful wedding. So you have to know, you have to be true to yourself, what you want. You have to be true to the person that you're marrying, but what they want. Can we do this together? Can we not? A lot of times these conversations don't happen until after the fact. I would say that the answer to your question, though, is communication and comprehension. You got hit the nail on the head with that. I can't just talk at you. We have to be able to share ideas and understand them.
Okay. That sounds good. Look, I'm like that. It sounds good. My answer to the individual, if you don't know the love language, is utilize all of them, even in relationships and marriages. Utilize all 5 love languages, and then you'll see which one is needed, because it's easy. Words of affirmation. It's easy to encourage a spouse. It's easy to do that. If it's not, that's an issue within yourself. Go ahead. What you got?
I don't want to cut you off, but I got to say it.
Go ahead.
You can tell somebody that they're beautiful all day long. You can tell somebody that they're smart. You can tell them you like the way they dress. But if they don't believe it, they don't hear you. So it is a good love language, but is it doing what you think it should be doing?
Then listen. Then you go to number 2. Like I said, utilize it all. We go to number 2. We're going to spend some time together. Let's see. Let's go walk in the park. Or then you grab them, you hold them, and let them know you're beautiful as you're touching them. Then acts of service. What can I do for you? Let me cook you breakfast. You know what I mean? You got to keep going to the next one. Here's a little gift I bought you. You buy me a scrunchie. I'm happy. A ponytail scrunchie. We in there. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, some socks, something like that. Easy stuff. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but it just says, hey, I thought about you.
Do you expect it to be reciprocated then? These 5 languages?
Oh, definitely. Here's the thing. It's so important on both sides. Both sides, because like I was saying at the beginning, it's, we look at it from a female's perspective. We're looking at the man to do all of that, but we have to do that as well. We have to do that as well. If he don't want to be cuddling, he watching the football game, you know your partner. Physical touch during the football game better be a high five for me, but I'm me. It better be a high five. Don't be trying to hug and cuddle me. What? Especially if the Steelers is playing. So, they're going to backstage talk about the Browns.
Go ahead.
Look at him. He's like, what you got going on? Who you over there with?
I was back there, in the cheap seats, cheering Kim on.
Okay, the cheap seats. You in the cheap seats.
I've learned a lot today. Thank you.
Okay,
but,
you know what? Okay, let's go to, here's a question. And this is not the person that posed that question to me. That was a private inbox question for the entire show. But go ahead, AmberDee, would you read that?
So Artemis Damone of Facebook said, my question was rhetorical. To me, I don't believe love languages change as they appeal to our individual needs. The challenge lies in finding ways to express or meet those needs.
Boy, that's East High education right there. I like that.
Kim answered it already. So, and that's good. Look, all y'all easy people. But it's still it's one and the same. I think it's really, really important to know the 5 love languages, implement them. One doesn't work, go to number 2, number 3 until you figure it out and change, personalities change, our allergies change. So expect change as the world turns. And understand this, we already know, I ain't gonna talk about the water, all that other stuff. Growth. We have to water plants. So in order for us to grow, we have to be watered. So tell somebody something good, all right, lovely people? Now I'm gonna let Cam go ahead and do the footnote for today's topic. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that was Mel. I didn't want two people blaming me again.
Footnote for today. I guess the best way for me to sum it up is before you try to get to know someone else, get to know yourself. Know what your priority standards are. Know what life looks like for you. Know your attitudes about money, relationships, career, spirituality. Know who you are. Be authentic to that. And then your mate will complement that for you. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your success. Your helpmate helps you to fulfill your dreams, but you have to also be authentic enough to be able to help them as well. So I guess that's my takeaway from that. Before you get to know somebody else, get to know you.
How can anyone contact you?
KimMays.org at att.net. I am going to give information on my website later because I'm going to have my book coming out in about maybe 6 weeks. How to live a more meaningful and purposeful life. A lot of what we talked about today will be in the book, but for now, my email, KimMays, MAYS.org at att.net, or you can contact me at 330-720-3456. And thank you, Mel. It was great being home. Missed you. It was fun.
Hey. All right, lovely people. That is my time. I totally enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. You already know what it is. Check your girl out, 947-star.com if you're not in the area. If you are in the area, Star 94.7 on until 3 o'clock. Ride out with your girl and kick it with me. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people.
Shop talk.
Shop talk.
That's a mess. I like that.
Shop